speak moron as well as you, but let me try.
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
It's a moron. That's not against the law.
Gun! You fucking moron!
Stuff like Batman.
Because he is Batman, you moron.
What are you, a fucking moron? Huh?
You moron. Drop dead. Moron.
Whoa!
Up here, you morons.
Stepping morons like yourself.
Me down, you moron! Hey, moron!
I'm used to you just pushing the cord whenever.
Maybe I've changed up a little bit because I'm standing now rather than sitting at a desk. So rather than you guys hearing my squeaky chair constantly or me having to constantly mute so that you didn't hear my squeaky chair, you just have to watch me walk around. And
your old knees cracking and that.
Do you know what it is? I've stood up there now for my back's killing me because I've been sitting all day. It's to say, you'll just see me do my stretches and lunges. I've got a treadmill here at the side. I should just put that on and walk away.
I don't think it's been used much, has it, Kyle?
It's used daily, not for very long.
I
thought I meant for putting the dug on when he was at work.
Yeah, there's a shout. I mean, I walk in the treadmill whilst I'm eating a couple of Apollo bars from Morrison's, but
other Marv's duplicate chocolate bars are available.
It's just got a big stick with a chocolate bar hanging off it that I need to walk towards to get. Right, well, I better shut up with my nonsense and get talking about the movie. Welcome into another episode of Morons Reviewing Movies. We are in to talk about an unseen selected pick from myself. The movie is A Quiet Place. Family struggles for survival in a world where most humans have been killed by blind but noise-sensitive creatures. They are forced to communicate in sign language to keep the creatures at bay. Had anyone seen this before?
Yes.
Not me.
No. And the sequel.
And the sequel. So I've not ventured to the sequel yet, but I'll kick things off and say that I can't wait to see the sequel. I really, really enjoyed this. Before I go into my rant though, Daniel, did you see it at the cinema by any chance?
Originally, no. But I think it would have been a better experience at the cinema.
So that was the main point I was going to bring up, is that I feel like I needed to watch this at the cinema because, again, setting the scene for how I watched it was sitting in my office on an iPad during the day. Didn't give me the illusion of being scared of what I think I would have been if I watched it in a cinematic experience. But I really liked it. We'll come on to one of the big glaring plot holes for it, I'm sure, at some point.
I
think... Sorry?
I've list of plot holes here.
Well, let's put them out there, right? Number one for me. Why did they get pregnant?
Yes.
Well, doesn't it start way to give them their due on that one? Doesn't it start on day 89? So she was already pregnant.
Oh, right.
That is kind of thingy on the trivia. I didn't note it down, but there is a thing where basically she was pregnant.
Fair enough. Well, I'll retract that one then. That was my main thing that annoyed me. I just thought to myself, like, these are obviously in a fucking apocalyptic scenario where these random monsters kicking about, that you don't really learn much about, but I quite like that. I quite like the fact that they just jumped into, here's some scary as fuck monsters that are going to kill you if you make loads and loads of noise. Obviously, the married couple, they have got good chemistry together, shocking. I thought the acting was really good in it. The wee girl, though, I really, really liked the little girl because of how much she annoys me. And it just made me think back to that. Actually, that makes her quite good at what her role is because she's meant to be challenging and difficult. The monsters themselves, I didn't find them particularly scary because they just kind of jump out in anywhere. But I just feel like...
I played Resident Evil 2 as a child. Nothing along this scale was going to scare you in terms of monsters.
Do you know what? I would have much rather it didn't show you the monsters and you just got taken. Like, you just got swiped away by something that was uncontrollably fast that they couldn't work out what it was, and they just didn't have a victory of them killing the monsters. They had to just live their life in silence and keep going and survive because I like the way that they've done the whole survival side through it, and they had created a system, and they had all those lights out that indicated if they were in danger or if they were not in danger. I think it was really well done from that side of it, but I just feel like the monsters were disappointing. But I think that, like you say, they're always going to be disappointing. There's nothing you can really make that's an alien that's new or scary that's going to come out. So just leave that mystery. I did have a proper like jaw drop moment though when the little boy got wrapped up right at the very start. I didn't expect him to kill off the little boy so early on in the movie, but I thought that was really, really good.
Why was he at the back?
Sorry?
Say again?
Was he at the back?
Yes, the wee boy was left. I say left, he was dilly-dallying away back. I did think it was a bit strange that they didn't constantly check on him when being so young, but...
The thing that annoyed me most about this film was at the very start, the wee boy just about sets off the noisy toy. So they take the batteries out it. Right? They put the batteries on the counter and the toy on the counter. They then leave the shop one by one, leaving a 4-year-old in the shop on his own. He then picks the toy up. They're already walking when he comes out the shop. They're walking in a line on a bridge with the mum and dad at the front and the kids at the back.
Does the girl not give him the toy, or did I imagine that?
Did they not take the batteries out? Did she not give it back?
Give him the batteries back or something? Yeah.
He
short toy
off the counter, but why the fuck are the kids at the back?
Or why is it not one parent at the front, the other one at the back?
That's what it is. That's what it would be in a real life situation. I had no idea why they've done it like that, because it never. The only thing it added was that the boy got killed, but he could have got killed.
Especially when you're going to be worried as anything about these creatures coming to get you, and you're just like, we'll just leave them at the back. They can figure it out for themselves.
My annoyance. Sorry, I was going to say, mine goes a step further. How annoyed I was. Why are you all going to the shop in the first place?
Yeah.
Post-apocalypse where leaving and making noise is such like a fucking terrible scary noise. Why are you taking the full family for an outing? Like, surely just one parent and maybe one of the older children go to pick up the shit. Like,
that's exactly what they did when they were going fishing. So they've just completely just went away from what they were originally planning on doing.
So many flaws.
The scenes, aye.
There's loads of things about this that annoy me.
The thing is, I do totally get it, because that is a bit strange that they would do that. I don't know, maybe the reason being that they've done that run or that trip several times, which again is another question as to why they've not just blitzed it all in the winter and taken as much as they could, so they didn't have to go back, so they were probably a little bit better prepared. But yeah, I do think like plot hole wise, there was many bits where I'm just like, why? Like they had that safe room with the mattress and all that. Why did they not realise it was soundproof up until the point where she was having the baby? Because they were so shocked that it actually worked. That confused me a little bit. But I'm still going to sit in the praise for this movie. I really did enjoy it, and I really like the fact this sounds daft, but I like the fact that it was loads of subtitles, because I had to pay attention to the movie the full time. This would definitely fall out with those ones where you could kind of watch it whilst doing other stuff. So it did get my full attention as we were watching it. I love the scene where he takes his wee boy to the waterfall, and then they're able to like unwind and be themselves. Did think though, could you not make home at the waterfall?
There's so many of these things, all the way through it.
The bit that they were sitting at had a huge big gap in the cave that they could have set up a home, but I don't know. Let's bring in Daniel for his thoughts. He seems like he's got a few.
I did quite enjoy it, by the way. I do quite like the concept, right? But in preparation for this, 2 weeks in a row, I've got notes, right? So, and all I did was write down notes of things that annoyed me about how they did things. Right? So, one, why did they all go to town together, as we've covered, right? The biggest plot hole in this whole thing, right? These monsters can only navigate via hearing, right? They're blind. So they use hearing for everything, how they move and how they navigate around things, right? So they must have some sort of sonar or something, because otherwise they would be smashing into stuff all the time. So their hearing's so good that they can detect non-moving objects and navigate around them. Right? They can even walk downstairs slowly and like sense where every step is, but they can't sense a fucking human being that's 1 foot away from them, breathing heavy as fuck and panting and shit. Like, just the idea is obviously good, right? Of something that only detects sound, and I quite like that idea, but it's far too inconsistent. Like, the baby's sitting there gurgling away for ages at one point, and the thing doesn't go near it. But early on in the film, they show you it's like 2 possums or something just walking away, and one of them makes a tiny wee squeak.
Mm-hmm.
They've got it, right? And it's just super annoying. And I'll go through in order, right? So obviously they barely see you standing there, your heart beating. They barely detect your fucking heart beating, all this sort of stuff. If they can walk about without eyes, they can detect everything about you somehow, but they don't. The one bit really annoyed me, right, when they're walking back for the waterfall, and they see the old man whose wife has just died or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why that old man's just standing there waiting to move the plot on, like he's like a fucking disposable side character in a PlayStation game. Like, he's just why is he standing there waiting for somebody to walk past to then scream? Like, it's really fucking annoyed me. So the baby, after the baby, right, they could just talk in the bunker and it's all fully fucking soundproof and all that. They should just lived in there. Why do they live down there, right? It's been 89 days and they've managed to dig up this full lighting scheme that changes colours when they're in danger and all that. They've managed to cut out this place so much in 89 days. And it doesn't even add up to me in any way. Fire's loud, but they light fires and that's fine. Like, lighting a fire's fine, but it doesn't go towards the fire, right? The fire's crackling away, doesn't hear it. But then for hundreds of yards away, a door opens and it fucking leaves the baby and everything and runs towards them.
Mm-hmm.
The things also don't seem to eat anybody.
Yeah, they just cut them on.
So, like, I understand if they're eating folk, but like, what they're doing, are they just like murder monsters? Like, what are they living on? None of that makes sense to me. The overflowing bath is loud as fuck, but that doesn't seem to matter. It takes her ages to notice that the place is like 4 foot of water flooded. He's only been outside looking for them for 10 minutes, and there's fucking 3 feet of water taking up the whole fucking place. It really just fucking does my head in. Like, there's so many little plot holes in this with regards to the consistency. But somehow I still quite enjoyed it. Like, it is quite a good film, and I like the idea and the concept. And you can tell they've come up with a lot of little ideas, like her standing on the nail, like in Home Alone. Like, the setup for it, and they made it a bit too obvious what was going to happen, but it did give me that moment of going, oh, and like her trying to stop herself from screaming and all that. But the biggest thing I think this is missing out of all of it is, why has it got background music? Like, this would work so much better if the silence was actually silence. But us as a viewer, you've got ominous music playing in the background all the time. And that just, to me, it defeats the whole purpose. If you're going to do something like this where it's all about silence and every single footstep and everything they do is accentuated, having the dramatic music in the background just really bothers me.
I think this is probably a testament to why we are morons and we know absolutely fuck all, because this film is nominated for Best Achievement in Sound Editing.
Yeah, it sounded great, but not for the purpose of this plot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that.
Like, I would have really enjoyed this if it was, even if they did it all for the deaf girl's point of view. Do you know what I mean? Where you couldn't hear anything. I'd be all on board with that. It'd be a weird film to watch, but I'd quite like that. Because it would really have sucked you into that sort of, I don't know, I would have felt a lot more claustrophobic, a lot more tense and scared if there was the music telling me when there was a monster coming.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like the complete silence, but the music would build up. But all the little things, like, see when the wee boy's running through the corn and it's making loads of noise, the thing doesn't come out. But
that was really annoying for me,
like, just see if they just stuck to one premise and kept it all the way through and it was consistent, I would have probably scored this really highly. But I just think it's so poorly done with the terms of consistency and what these monsters are meant to be able to do. And like, he's got a full setup, like a fucking CCTV system that looks over this whole place and all that. And it doesn't all add up. Like you said, if you were watching it without it flashing up 89 days, you would think they'd been there for years. And that's where you're point, Kyle, for the start. When I first watched it, I missed the 89 days thing first time, and I had the same issue as you. Why the fuck would you get pregnant? But
I
she was
don't
obviously
think
pregnant.
at the start, because it was 89. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was 89 days when they were in the shop at the start. Is that right?
Yeah.
It's 400 odd days when she's
Yep.
pregnant. So there's no way she's pregnant on 89 days unless
473 was the next day that popped up. So she wouldn't have been pregnant at the start. So they've got pregnant.
And also, they wouldn't have had this big thing on 89 days because there simply wouldn't have been enough time to actually put all that together. So on 89 days, they must have just been going. That's why they were in the shop together, because they're literally just going to look for somewhere to stay, I'm assuming.
No, they already had the sand paths made. Remember?
The what?
They already made paths out of sand across the bridge.
I know, but like that, it never actually showed you them going to the house on 89 days.
No, I know, but you're not going to make sand paths to nowhere. They must have had the house, surely. You would think.
But how do you know it was them that made the sand paths? It could have been. I've not seen the second one. I don't know if there's other people out there or that, but.
But the thing is, obviously, some of these questions might get answered because I believe there's a prequel which is due out soon. It's like A Quiet Place, the beginning or something it's called.
So the sequel
sort
of shows you the beginning. So the sequel explains what happened at the start.
They're now making a film of that.
Ah, right, okay. So in the sequel, it starts off normal life, and then it looks like comets / spaceships crash through the atmosphere, and then the things are there, and that's it. Fucking all systems go straight away, day one. But sorry, Sean, you're right. So she should never go pregnant. Fucking stupid. Why even shagging?
See, just on the kind of baby situation, like, so when she was in the bath, this is one of the things that kind of annoyed me. It really annoyed Laurie as well. Like, she's obviously in the bath, right, and she's in labour, which is excruciatingly painful. So she's doing well to hold in her screams and all of that. You can see, like, she played it really well, to be fair to her. So the wee boy sets off the firework. The monster gets distracted and runs away. In that time of the monster running away, the dad running to the house with a shotgun, going up the stairs really slowly, checking the rooms for her, finds an empty bath. She's given birth, cleaned the baby, cut the umbilical cord and wrapped it up in a towel and got into the shower within that time. That is just nonsense. And I don't even work in a maternity ward, and I was to Laurie, that's still the shit, isn't it? She's like, definitely, I don't know why they've done that.
And then they put it straight in the box. It's not even been fed. It's not even fed. Who's changing its fucking arse?
To be fair, it's her fourth baby, and they just slid clean it.
Alright, so I've actually just Googled there, right? So there's actually 2 films coming out. So there was A Quiet Place 3 and then a spin-off prequel called A Quiet Place Day 1. Now, tell me they're just fucking kicking the arse with this. No.
Aye.
I don't know if it's worthy of 4 movies. Do you know what I mean? Like, I as much as I really enjoyed it, I do think there was. You could have done with just this being the movie and nothing else added to it. I don't think it really needs much more.
But do you think? Obviously, I've not Googled what the box office takings have been. But I think it's one of those films that's been on Netflix and then that has boosted it. So they've got their numbers to how many folks on Netflix. And it strikes me it's the perfect, what you're going to call a Netflix and chill film for the young team. So perfectly, they're turning that film on, there's quiet, there's nothing, and basically 80% of the audience are knuckle deep before it's even finished. So that's nobody's watching it, but the film's still finishing anyway. So it looks as if they've got the numbers to fucking make all these spin-offs.
Oh, knuckle deep before it's finished. That's the name of the podcast.
Well, just to bring this back on track, Hunter, the box office, they had a budget of $17 million and the box office was $340 million.
Maybe they've done not too bad off the market there.
Oh, well, the profits were on the knuckling.
Yeah.
Bonzi, what did you think, mate?
I struggled with this a wee bit. It's like, I think you said obviously that the subtitles obviously made you concentrate in the film, Kyle, was like I thought at the start is like I was drawn in the more the longer the film went on, but at the start it just didn't really interest me. I think as well that I always sort of like known more about the characters and stuff, and it just sort of jumped in. Obviously, the boy gets killed right at the start, and I was kind of like, was that really needed? Or like, was it just to show that the creatures will kill you, or you could have probably just done without that? I didn't, and I think good point you made as well, Kyle, is like I didn't feel scared throughout it either, but I think that is part like a big thing is because it's maybe a film that you need to watch at cinema or when it's pitch black, but I didn't think the monsters were that scary. And I think when you do see them as well, the creatures and that, they don't look as scary as it could be. So you kind of like somebody made a good point about you could have just not seen them too. I think it was just a bit too bizarre for me as well. I did think it picked up a bit once a father and son go fishing because it picks up and goes a lot more fast paced and there's a lot more action. So you're not really having to there's not as much concentration in terms of sign language and the subtitles, etc. But it didn't have me have me on the edge of my seat at any point. I don't really think. I thought the implanting the girl worked quite well. That was something completely just different, and obviously how it affected the monsters. I thought that was a good addition. And the bit with the father, how he sort of screams to protect his children. I thought that was well done. Just something that Kate did come out of nowhere, but you could obviously see the reasons why he did it. But Daniel sort of touched on all the points, the plot holes, and it just didn't hit the spot for me at all. I've seen it's like quite highly rated, but I just don't really know how. It's just, I think a big part of the problem though is it's not. I like more things that are more like real life. I don't really like this kind of genre of films, which is a big issue for me, I guess too.
Oh, you're in for a tweet next week, Craig.
Oh man, Craig, I'm buzzing for Burns to watch Memento and then come on here and go, what the fuck?
Memento, that's widely known as a movie that you need to have watched maybe 5 to 6 times before you start piecing it together.
Wanky shite. Can't wait to talk about it. But a good point you made, Burns, was you see the monsters and they're not scary. And I think the reason for that is they're just big CGI. Like it's as if there's been very little work done on what these things were going to look like, and it's very, very clear that it's not there. You know what I mean? We've had this sort of debate a few times. One of the reasons I love Alien is that when that big alien face is there, it's a real life thing. You know what I mean? It's like a big handmade animatronic puppet thing. You know what I mean? And that you could tell when an actor's acting against a real thing or when an actor's acting against nothing. And I just think that takes away all the tension to me. Like, I don't know, it's weird. They always have to like add in the footstep noises and add in everything about like how it's moving and what it's banging into and what is the acting weight, and it just becomes very obvious. It's why they do it in Marvel, right? That every single Marvel movie ends up with a CGI monster army and they all just get killed. It's because you can desensitize for it. Like children can watch big CGI monsters and not be scared by them because humans, we can tell when it's a real thing or when it's not a real thing. I think that makes a big difference. It's why Jaws is amazing and The Meg is shite, because one of them feels like it's happening and the other one you can tell is a big computerized like picture and everything's manipulated and nothing feels natural. And I just think, like you made a good point, Kyle, that if they just kept them off screen completely and made it much more a mystery and it's just a thing that grabs you, I'd have been much more into this. But I remember watching this the first time thinking you didn't get to see the monsters that much, but you actually see them far too much. And to me, it exposes all the flaws with the hearing and all that, because see when the wee girl's there and they open up their heads and you can see that it's like, and it's doing the clicking like in The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
All of that makes me think that the hearing makes them see a picture. So like the fact that they are being quiet doesn't matter. As soon as you're within the range of it, it's going to be able to detect that you're there. So I mean, the same way as it detects that a fucking tree's there, so does it smash into it, or it can climb up the tower because it knows there's a fucking tower there, but it doesn't know there's people. fucking.
Maybe it's going to have a crossover with Vin Diesel's Pitch Black at some point.
That's a much better similar idea to this. What a great underrated movie Pitch Black is. I might pick that soon.
You think of it, so it's like it's blacked out, and he has that thing under his eye, so he can see like how the monsters see, and it's sonar style. He can picture together what's around them based on the sound and the movements and that on it. No, I'd like to. I think the biggest thing it could have done is get them off screen, because once they made that noise and you seen them all coming from all different. My question is like, how long do they hear the noise to locate exactly where it came from? Because it's like one noise and they were fucking banded right in the exact position.
Yeah, and obviously we don't know, like, are they scattered all over the world? Is it just affecting this one area of fucking Midwest fucking America? It's like, there's no rhyme nor reason to it.
And also, I want to sweat out in the when the girl goes into the room, she can see the map where the dad's laid out where he's had sightings of them.
Mm-hmm.
Where did it go? Did he just sit still until a sound gets made and then go? Like, how has he managed to see them to be able to sight them on a map, but he's not been killed by them?
And he's got in the thing that there's only 3.
That's what I mean, guys. So if that's the 3 that's there, but then you see the bit where he's got like the wee sort of mind map think board thing to work it out. Like there's news like as if they're all over America, but he's thinking there's only 3.
And his
Well, they just all managed to congregate on this one house. Like that's.
And see how they've got they use the fireworks as a distraction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why not just put dot speakers about outside in the field and blast music, right?
So you can just live a normal life, and then they'll get distracted by the speakers all the time.
Live a normal life. Aye.
Keep them stuck in this little triangle.
Come the end, obviously, when the daughter finds out what their weakness is, why have some of the smartest people in the world not been able to have discovered this before her?
And all the other people with hearing aids in the world.
Exactly.
It took an engineer to fix faulty hearing aids and multiple of them, to then for her to work it out.
Aye, the more we talk about it,
shitting on this a lot.
Aye, the more you talk about it, the worse it gets. I think
what we're doing it is more from a good place. It's like these are the things that annoyed us because, like yous, there's such a good concept in there somewhere, and what we've done is the things that are annoying us because we want more from the film. It's not like, oh, this fucking annoyed me, I would never. It's like there is a good basis and something in there that could work on a much better scale, but it just doesn't seem to land because of the potholes and things we've discussed. But there is something good. Yeah, they made the good point, Daniel, about the Jaws. See that? See maybe if you just got that one bit at the start with the wee boy, and then that was it, or maybe even it built up to that, like just the allure and the worry, the tension. But even then, even if you maybe, I know that like this, I do like what was mentioned about the being in complete silence, and maybe just hearing the footsteps like a bird flying in the trees or something like that. But I do think maybe, like obviously we say it with Jaws, but some of the tension in Jaws is the music helps build it, so you can maybe do it another way with this, so that you know. But again, as you're saying, if you've got no music throughout it, when it kicks in, you know something's going to happen, so it takes away the. So you maybe need to find a way to get the perfect. But then again, are you just copy and Jaws something that's already been mastered, that tension building? You know, it's never going to be as good as well.
Aye, I think you're right that that's what they've tried to do is build tension with this ominous music. I just in any other film where the concept isn't about silence, I'd be all about that. But the concept of this film is silence.
Has anyone seen the movie Hush?
So I get mixed up. Is that the one where they break into someone's house and they're blind or deaf?
No. So there's one called Don't Breathe where they break into a war veteran's house. That's really good. I watched that recently, but there's a dead, creepy, sinister part in the middle of it that's just so out of place with the rest of the movie that it makes me uncomfortable to watch it.
Is that when they artificially inseminating all the women?
Yeah. So I mistakenly watched that with a 14-year-old stepson, and he was like, "Whoa, what the fuck's going on here?" But the movie Hush is a deaf girl in her house, and she's being stopped from it, and you see the movie from her point of view. It's really quiet, and it's so creepy because she's just walking through her house normally, and things pop up at windows and that. But she doesn't even see or hear. Sorry, Sean.
Is that the guy with the white mask on?
Yes.
I've seen it on Netflix. I think Laurie's watched it. I didn't know what to watch it though.
I didn't think this would be one that you would watch on. But no, I would highly recommend watching the movie Hush. I think it's basically a better version of this without monsters.
You've not said much, Sean. Do you like this at all?
I did like it. It's just obviously that's all the plot holes. We hope that we've already mentioned the majority of them. A lot of them I was going to bring up as well. The one with the baby. I'm not really in much agreement in terms of I'm not bothered that we've seen them seen the monsters quite a lot. That really doesn't bother me at all. I thought it was quite jumpy, but just because it was, even with the background music, it was still quiet. So it still gave me a jump a few times. I will watch the second one. I watch the second one with Laurie whenever she wants to sit down and watch it. But I did quite enjoy it. But I just looked through those holes that are in it, big glaring holes. Another thing that I was thinking as well is that he's obviously, you've seen it a few times, he's wrote down on the board they've identified that there's 3 in the area, which is fine. But where the fuck do they hang out? Just waiting on hearing a noise, because they're there instantly, and it's quite a big area. You know what I mean? It's not like they live in I don't know, it's a really small island. I don't know, but it's quite a big area, and they're there instantly. And also, when one does come, it's making a lot of noise. So why is there another one right behind it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
And why have they all not drowned in rivers and waterfalls?
Aye. So apart from that stuff, I still quite enjoyed it, which is quite funny. But it was quite good.
As much as they've made themselves this really good habitat for it, would they not be better suited in a fucking high-rise flat than sitting in a building in the middle of nowhere surrounded with all the foliage that they can make noise with?
But then they can climb up towers because they know the shapes of buildings and walk upstairs and take lifts. So
Gets in the lift number 37. That's where the noise came from. I heard Hunter fart in number 37. How long do you think it would last?
These are so small. Think about how much you fucking fart.
I know.
Well, I was going to say, how long do you think we would last without making a noise? I feel like my ADHD that I've got would have me killed within seconds.
But the thing is as well, just going back to the farting thing, they're living off mainly vegetables or whatever, so that must be just.
Bonzi would be fucked as soon as he fell asleep with that fucking tiger noise.
Well, they probably don't react to stone. They don't react to half the other stuff. So maybe that's one of the things they didn't hear.
Aye, maybe they just hear selective things that move the plot.
What's also funny with them going in that big tower and falling in is I think it's just a big fucking just grain in this big massive tower that these 2 kids were going to drown in.
Right.
And
it just popped into my mind there whilst I'm not fully removed from toilet-based trivia here. Where they got? What's happening when they flush a toilet? Is the thing they'll just fucking charge it themselves at that point too?
They'd have to shit outside in a hole or something. I'm not assuming.
What if it's a noisy one? What if they've just had a big dinner?
That's you dead straight away. See the corn hit the within the corn silo tower fucking thing, right? The wee boy falls in and he's drowning, and then the door falls in, and she saves him with the door.
Mm-hmm.
But instantly she lets go of the door, and she starts drowning. How can the door save him but no her? It was just so fucking so many little things. And how did they get out of the silo?
Because the monster ran a big.
The monster fucking smashed it. I remember.
Smashed the coal, scared of the hearing aids.
Mm.
It's also funny that that's what defeats a lady hearing aids.
They take that a step further than the second one.
Oh. Fucking big, massive, huge ones made that are sitting at the side of buildings.
Well, they might as well just do that now. Like, now that you've figured it out, that should be it, over. No one's never been double again, but it's not how it works. Can't get a fucking franchise out of that, can you?
So essentially, a fucking dog whistle is what could kill these things.
Aye. Fucking dog whistle.
Oh man. Well, I'm still in the good camp. I thought it was a good movie. I thought all the actors and actresses were very good. I bought into them. Just take the monsters actually out of it and just have something that takes them when they make too much noise. That'll do me.
One point on the actors and actresses. I do find it very, very difficult to take him as anyone else but Jim, the office. And see when he's trying to make those serious faces when he's like upset or like something's happening. I just look at Jim for the office, like making wee faces into the camera. That's all I can think every time. And I just give them a beard and stuff, but he's still got that goofy fucking face. And I just find it really hard to take him seriously. Like, even when he looks like he's about to start crying, I just think he's about to make a joke, or like he's not being serious in any way. I do find them very difficult. Emily Blunt's brilliant in it. She's really good. And I do think the little lassie that's deaf is a really good actress. The wee boy's kind of shit. Like, I don't know, he just didn't do it. I kind of wanted him to die, and because they were sort of going around this story that he felt like her dad didn't love her anymore. And that was kind of what was going on in the background with her. And it would have been quite good if she was only one left at the end, I thought. And maybe her and the dad, and the mum dies, would have been better. No, I'm just totally rewriting the film. But I found her as...
I didn't mind the wee boy. I thought the wee boy was alright. I think he played the character, just a scared wee boy who's got so much expectation on him now from the dad that is basically trying to train him up to be this guy that he's not. And you can tell that the dad's having to force so much onto him, and I just felt the wee boy was just constantly scared for anything and didn't want to do anything. He just wanted to be with his mum and like keep himself safe. I thought he was quite good.
Nah, it annoyed me.
Hunter, have we got any trivia?
We do indeed, yes. I'll just load up the trivia machine just now.
Not that you've had 37 minutes to do that.
So they've actually got it, when I say typed out, I just mean copy and pasted from my IMDb, but it's progress at least. So actually, so the film's director and mainly John Krasinski played the creature in a motion capture suit for a few scenes. So I don't know if we go back and rewatch it again, if you can maybe tell that, as you're saying, Daniel, where someone's interacting with something that's there at least.
Yeah.
The movie contains about 25 lines of voiced dialogue. How the original screenplay only had one line of voice dialogue.
Oh, that would have been better. I wonder what the one line would have been.
Shh. The filmmakers purchased 20 tons of corn and hired local farmers to grow it.
You could have done that with fake corn. What a waste of food.
I know. And again, just a very kudos to Emily Blunt with this. So she did the bathtub scene in one take, and according to John Krasinski, as soon as it was said cut, she left character and then asked the crew, "What's everyone having for lunch?"
She comes across that way. You ever seen her be interviewed? She's like, seems like sound and like down to earth and just like.
Yeah. I was like, obviously, because I've got The Rock on socials, like they done a film together, and there was a lot of times you would see them out together, and they came across very friendly, and I was like, she actually looks like she'd be a good laugh.
That's the issue if you're a Hollywood star with a Hollywood star wife, that she's going to go and work with Dwayne The Rock Johnson for 6 months and go out for dinner with him every night. Like, you've got to be okay with that. We all saw with Brad and Angelina that shit happens, man.
Well, I'm just sorry to cut you off here. You're looking at some of the factual errors that you get for it as well. And it says the scene in the grain bin where the kids are sinking like quicksand basically wouldn't have happened. Grain is stationary and there's no danger of it becoming sinking. So yeah, that wouldn't even happened.
No, I think the only way it would have happened is if the plug had come out the bottom and then all the corn was coming out, sucking out, then do that. Was that the only one? You got more?
So at most, the family could only plant a few acres. Nor would they have had many acres in corn as seen in the movie. It's too much for one family to consume. I said they would have a wider variety of crops on a small acre for their diet. This is just quite specific stuff about how it's mainly about food. The creatures are armoured. It's conceivable that they would be armoured against most small arms, but some shells have been advertised to shoot all the way through an engine block. Don't know if that really matters, but yeah. I just thought that was a funny one there, the fact that the big scene where the kids were drowning couldn't actually happen. Like, surely they could have thought of a different way. Take them to the fucking river, man. Let them fall in the river and the actual animals, the creatures jump in the rivers because their screams are so much louder than the river flowing.
Without spoiling the second one for anyone, water is an aspect of the story. So there's if they're planning on a sequel, that's maybe why that didn't happen, is what I would say, without spoiling it. I don't know if you want me to spoil it or not.
That would have been but the thing is, even if bring that in a little bit so that they maybe get chased towards it and then they turn away, and that's how they find out that they're scared of water. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't just put something in there that can't physically happen.
Aye. Long story short, they can't swim, so that's the answer. Lure them into the water.
Can't swim. Bring back Atlantis. We're all going to go live underwater to stay away from these animals. Cool. Well, it sounds like that brings us to an end of A Quiet Place and time to get reviewing our scores to see what we think of it. I'm going to jump in. It's an enjoyable movie for me, slightly higher than the mid, I think. I'll jump in with 3.25.
Nice.
Which I think will be very similar to most people. I'm guessing. Bonzi?
2 for me.
Wanker.
Very similar to your 3.25.
Not far at all, eh? Not far at all. Sean?
3.5.
3.5. Sean's a big fan. I always feel that when Sean goes anything over a 2.5, he must have fucking really enjoyed it.
Oh, aye.
There's loads of films that I've scored high. Just the ones that I've scored low, the ones that you picked or that you liked.
Oh, listen, at least it wasn't Mega Shark versus Crocosaurus that we picked for this week.
Oh.
Okay.
Hunter?
2.75.
2.75. Daniel?
I'm joining Bonzi in that too. It's fairly enjoyable, but the plot holes, it's too many for me to enjoy for my brain.
For your brain. Can't see you get past it. Right, but what does that do to the overall scoring?
2.7.
2.7. Any guesses, guys, on what that puts that alongside?
2.7. So handily middle of the range. Like, what was that one where the woman was kept prisoner in a room? Oh, room. That's what it's called.
No, that's not near it there. Any other guesses quickly?
No.
Well, I'll tell you, it's joint 111th.
That narrows it down.
I know.
Happy Gilmore.
Not Happy Gilmore. It's joint with What We Do in the Shadows.
Fuck's sake. That's much better than this.
I'm gutted because it's slightly higher than Beauty and the Beast. Fucking love Beauty and the Beast.
Alright, this isn't even Beauty and the Beast.
Oh,
you're the one that gave it the high score.
This isn't better than Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, it's not better.
Fucking hell.
I don't like Beauty and the Beast, but I can understand why folk would think it was better. Like, I think, see, when you think about it, we get a lot of stick for low scores, but if 2.7 only takes you way down to 111th. We've been pretty generous, I think. We need to start being harsher, if anything.
Well, there's two movies that are slightly above it that I didn't think would be there, but The Shape of Water and Midsummer.
They were quite polarising for those ones. Like, people either loved them or hated them. I've got to explain this to people at the time. Whenever I'm showing them like the list or I'm talking to folk about the podcast, like every time I've got to say, aye, but this is an average. So it might have been that we all thought it was a 2.5 together, right? But more likely, somebody thought it was a 4 and somebody thought it was a 1 and somebody else thought it was a 2 or whatever. And that's how we get to these average scores. I've got to explain it to folk fucking every time I tell them about it.
But it's funny because I'm just scrolling down the list to see what's worse off, and you've got movies like Reservoir Dogs is down at a 2.4.
That is the one. You see, in hindsight, I do think, like, I think I scored that criminally low for what I went in on it, and then as we said, for the budget that made and whatever, like things needed to be factored in, and I went in saying this looks like it was filmed in a potato and stuff like that. And it just maybe it deserves a bit more credit than what I gave it at the time.
Other movies that are down there, Burnsy, Gone Girl, 129th on 2.35.
That's far better than this.
Old Boy down at 130, 2.35.
That's better.
Aye, Old Boy's better than this. By a mile.
Shutter Island away down at 155th on 1.7.
That was mostly my fault. I gave that a 0.25, I'm sure.
Lighthouse, 164, 1.4.
That's fucking murder.
That was with 3 zeros too.
That's 3 zeros in it and 2 4s.
Oh my god.
And a movie that Hunter always says behind the scenes is should have been lower than what it actually is. It says 166, but he shits on it all the time. Is Point Break.
Yeah, he always says off air.
I think that's a good point to end the podcast there. Just a reminder that Hunter hates Point Break. Guys, thank you very much for listening to us. We really do appreciate it. Then, as Morons bid you farewell.
You gotta pay me the surf.
Sorry I don't speak moron as well as you, but let me try.
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
It's a moron. That's not against the law.
Gun! You fucking moron!
Dressed up like Batman.
Because he is Batman, you moron.
What are you, a fucking moron?
You moron. Drop dead. Moron.
Whoa!
Up here, you morons.
Stepping morons like yourself.
Be down, you moron! Hey, moron!
Bid you farewell and good luck, morons. Bye.